Welcome to the Cardboard Court with the Fellowship of Games. I'm Alan.
And I'm Dawn.
And I'm John.
And this is our podcast where we will review and judge all things related to tabletop gaming. So now our court is in session.
Today we're convening the Cardboard Court on our favorite types of con. What is a fun con?
Yep. So we're going to judge local versus regional versus national cons. So court is in session. All right. So let's start with local cons.
Yeah, basically, is what makes a con a local con, and I'm thinking it's something, if it doesn't kind of go outside of your state in any way, shape, or form, some of even outside your city, but
yeah,
that's a local con. We have one, and I to this day, it's NEA Game Fest, Northeast Arkansas Game Fest. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it as much as the BGG. I really do.
Yeah, it's a good con.
There's give and takes. Compare it to like I said, BGG. I consider that a regional one because you're going to get some people from all around. But it's primarily people in Dallas and Texas and the surrounding states, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana.
How many people attended? About 7?
About 300 to 350.
No, I'm talking Board Game Geek.
Oh, Board Game Geek's about 3,500.
Yeah.
But our local con,
about 350.
There's a Northeast Arkansas, and it's about 300 to 350 every year.
Yeah, because that's the capacity limit of the hotel.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They limit the tickets to
250 to 350, and it's Northeast Arkansas. We do have a Northwest Arkansas con that I would call a local con, and then another good example of a local con is one that we saw last year. They just started the Level Up Games Con, which is a game store in Atlanta. They started a local one. They have several game stores, so they started their own. So there's a lot of really good ones out there that are. Nashville has one. Nashville.
Yeah.
Something. A lot of local ones.
Maple Mountain. They started a local one in Nashville, and then there's another Nashville one, the tabletop one that our buddy Chad told us about. So
and in Memphis, there's Mid-South Con, which is.
But that's more regional.
Yeah.
Mid-South.
Yeah. Okay.
These would be like centered around a city, basically. Okay. With probably under 500, let's say. So what are the pros and cons of a local con now that we kind of defined it?
My favorite is kind of the local because it's small enough that you know all the people. Like we know the guy who runs NEA Game Fest. He's a good guy.
Yeah, you can talk with them
more like, hey, why'd y'all make this decision? Why do that or stuff? And it's just more friendly to me because I'm going to take that back. BGG Con was very friendly. All the workers, they were nice. So Gen Con is just so big that it just doesn't matter, period. So I don't know. I kind of like knowing people, find out a little bit about it. Like originally they supported, I like the charities. The library ones, they support the library now because of some funding cuts. But I liked when they did the battered women's children's shelter.
Yeah.
I liked it I felt more rewarding giving my money to them.
That place closed down, or they'd still be doing it. I'm sure
they would.
Yeah,
but now it's for the county library. Yeah. So one thing you're saying you like the the social aspect. You know everybody first name basis.
People.
Yeah. You can just walk up and talk to the people running it and have a conversation. They're sitting there.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're the people checking the games out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's going to a good charity, the money. All charity, this is 100% going to charity.
And the other pros are if you're tired, you go home.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't stay and spend $150 for a hotel.
You got your own bed. You can eat your own breakfast. Go home and eat lunch.
You're
if you
hungry.
Want, take a nap.
You could go
to
a local. You can go cheap and eat at a Subway.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Something like that, really cheap. Or
that's like 3 minutes away.
So it's less expensive. It's convenient and less expensive.
Yeah.
And also you can buy all the games you want and take them back. No. They don't tend to sell a lot of games at this local one.
I've never seen
that. Usually,
but they have silent auction.
One store does sell games. They just have a few stacked up. Their bookstore, but
But they don't have it's not like you have
No.
a big retail section.
No, not at
They
all.
have, but they have silent auction and they have play to win games and and then they have a free giveaway
It's
game
about
table
15
and
vendors.
yeah.
Ballpark.
Yeah, you get tickets when you show up. They give you tickets, and you put the tickets in that
Yeah.
day's drawings. So there's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of. I was just saying, there's a lot of free stuff. There's a lot of free stuff with BGG also though. So, but
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
they don't. In ours, they don't skimp. I don't know. I mean, there's some that might not be that way.
Yeah, and they get the free table. Like people just bring in
Yeah.
games
Yeah.
and put it on the free
Yeah,
table.
I'm
And
planning on
I got a few of those.
bringing one of the games we played for
And with-
sibling rivalry, cryptid
Yeah, the little
something.
cryptid game.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that might make somebody's
They
day. They'll play
Yeah.
it. I don't know.
And also, I think one thing too, it's family friendly. We have more seasoned gamers like us, but there's a college in the town, and we get college age kids, and then we have people bring families. They bring itty bitty kids and their game library. They have somewhere, I would say, probably about 300 to 500 games they bring of their personal library
Yeah.
that they have, and plus the play to wins, and it's a good selection. They have games for all ages, so.
Yeah.
Very family friendly.
Yeah.
Like if she could hang, you could bring your grandma to the con. I mean, it's very family friendly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, definitely, and it's less expensive. Like we said, the tickets I think are 45 or 50 for all
45.
50
For 4 days.
for 4 days,
Yeah,
and then
I think that's what I paid.
and then, like I said, you get all these free play to wins. The other thing we haven't talked about is the local con. We volunteer, so usually, except for last year, I've always volunteered to set up and punch out.
Yeah.
And then our sons usually volunteer to tear down. John and I have worked 2 to 4 hour shifts at
Usually,
different times.
because my work, I get 1 day of community service from my
Yeah.
work, so I'll volunteer to
gets
set up
approved.
the day to set up the event. So I help them set up. That's 4 hours, and
Yep.
then the next day I usually try to volunteer about 6 to 7 hours because my work's paying for me to volunteer. So
Yeah.
I do that.
And then this year, Alan and I are volunteering to teach.
Yeah, we're
We're going to teach
We're gonna-
T-Witches.
T-Witches to someone. I think
Yeah.
that'll be a lot of fun.
That will be fun.
Hopefully Bohemians too.
So
Hopefully, yeah.
They-
I made a mistake in registering, so we may or may not get to teach Bohemians.
So I think we're saying it's convenient, it's less expensive, you know where all the money, 100% of the money is going, and usually it's going to a charity or the local gaming community. It's on a first name basis. So it just kind of more relaxed, chill, less expensive, and that makes it super enjoyable.
They have less overhead too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They're not. It's not this massive undertaking for them to set it up.
One
I'm sure
hotel.
it is an
It's a
undertaking
lot,
for
yeah.
those involved, but at the same time,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they plan pretty much half the year for it. Start getting things lined
They
up.
have a good crew, and they've done it so many times. Like they've got they pull in the totes. You set up the tables. These are the play to win totes. You label them to match the games. You put the games in alphabetical
Yeah.
order. Like it's pretty structured. Put the chairs around the table. Set up the Warhammer. Set up the tabletop area. Set up the
Yeah. The only drawback to it, and this is all cons to a degree, is like it's really loud, especially Saturdays when they
Yeah.
do the Warhammer tournaments,
Yeah.
because they double the amount of people in there.
Yeah,
and
it gets
they get
loud.
loud.
Yeah.
But you can go anywhere in the hotel with your games, so we go tend to sit out in the lobby.
Go out to the lobby after breakfast is over.
And
So I
Cokes are
think
50 cents.
yeah, good. Like we said, good prices. So those are some of the pros of a local con. Let's talk about a regional con. So now we're going to, like we have Arkansas State Comic Con. I'm giving some I know. Arkansas State Comic Con, and as you said, Mid-South Con, which gets Memphis,
Yeah.
Memphis, Kentucky,
Tri-state
Tennessee,
area.
Tri-state
Mississippi,
area, yeah,
and
Mississippi.
Arkansas. Yep.
Of course, it's aimed more
Missouri.
at writing with a big emphasis on games.
Yeah.
It's, the point of it is authors
They
and stuff.
yeah, they've beefed up their games there. So, and then I suspect that I haven't been to it, but that Nashville con, I suspect that might be more regional. There
That
are two.
one, yeah.
Maple Mountain was smaller. They only sold under 400 tickets, but that other one that Chad goes to sounded a little bigger. Tabletop, something.
It sounded like it was only a day though. I can't
Tennessee
remember.
Tabletop Days.
Yeah.
Tennessee Tabletop Days.
Yeah,
That
we're
one
planning on
may be-
investigating that
Yeah.
next year, I think.
And then so regional would be
Geekway
the entire
to the
state.
west.
Yeah,
Instead of
Geekway
Gateway
to the west.
it's Geekway to the west up in St. Louis.
Yeah, so those would be state or maybe tri-state. They're geared toward a bigger audience, and those you're going to be looking at probably, I don't know, under 2,000. Let's say, I would think 500 to 2,000. You're
Somewhere
stepping
there.
it up a notch.
Yeah, because your hotel room's where your price
Yeah.
comes in.
It's far enough away. You might not be able to drive it. You might have to get a hotel room, depending on where it's at.
But the advantage is the hotels, usually it's at a hotel. And so you get a hotel price, but it's not gouged. Like Gen Con, they up the price. There's a pretty penny involved for your room.
Yeah.
But for regional, you're still looking
But
at 100,
they
150 room.
control it at Gen
Yeah.
Con, though. They control it with the lottery, the hotel lottery.
Yeah,
But
but if you don't get in the lottery,
oh yeah, then you'd be gouged.
then
but-
it gets expensive.
So
They are definitely local. I would argue that BGG Con and BGG Spring and even the Dice Tower East and West are more local.
almost more
Because
of the regional.
regional, I mean,
yeah.
regional, because they're not, if you compare them to
True.
Origins and
True.
Gen Con, like,
Yeah, where you're at 70, 80.
you're getting a much larger group of people, and
Yeah,
the
that's true.
vendors are there, and it's
At that point, they become vendor focused, though.
that's when you
So
go
we
national.
might-
It flips from being
The difference.
gameplay focused to vendor focus, and so like I've heard Geekway to the West, we haven't been to that one, was like BGG. In fact, the fellow that was there talked about how much he liked it more. And there's a large group of people though, but it just feels like the local one scaled up. It's not vendor focused. There is a vendor room where there's not usually in these smaller local ones. There are vendors or people who make stuff. Like we got our I'm gonna stand.
We have about 20 card tables.
We
they'll sell
bought some of these
3D
little
printed
3D printed things from someone there, and that
crocheted dice bags,
Yeah.
crocheted stuffies of dragons and turtles,
but when you
Ninja Turtles.
get to the
Yeah.
regional ones, there's actual like not board game games,
Indie boards and games
boards
came.
and games was
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
there's other dealers. The Cthulhu,
The guy who wrote, not Coliseum, but some of the authors of the adventures
Was there doing signed copies. Yeah, so you definitely get nationally recognized distributors
Yeah.
and booths.
so
And then you also get up and coming game companies.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed that at the regional cons.
yeah.
Like we met Dead Mimic Games and got that Mars Escape,
Yeah.
and we met
TCG.
we went TCG Co Limited and
the
got
hat
our
guy.
Japanese
Something Robo,
based dice game
Mr.
Speed
Robo.
Robo.
Speed Robo. Yeah.
Met the guy from Joliet, and that's where we got that little our little claim mine rush game.
Yeah.
So
Which-
we've had some good success.
Yeah, which that's kind of cool because those
Yeah.
cons are big for the smaller companies. Them should do some sales and stuff, but it's kind of neat because they'll be actually have time to talk to the people too. It's still a little bit personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about, like I said, the Dice Tower one, because I don't know where that
Falls, yeah.
falls in the
We haven't
category.
been
We
to
haven't
that
been to
one.
either one of those, and I know Dice Towers.
Pretty big.
They are big. They are one
Yeah.
of the pillars of the board gaming community. Tom Colicchio
In the States,
and,
yeah.
and
Tom Basil.
Basil and
Yeah.
what Colicchio? One of them's named Colicchio.
Yeah, the Sam
Sam. Yeah.
Sam
yeah.
Healy.
Okay.
And the other guy's I don't remember his name, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
You're-
if
There's
it's
three
the
of
same.
them.
Tom
One of them's not
Colicchio
associated with
is,
anymore,
is
but-
Top Chef guy.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Top Chef. He likes
Top
board
Chef
games.
Tom
No.
Colicchio.
Anyway.
Does like
I'm
board
not
games.
sure about the size of those, but I haven't seen just on the media, social media presence, I haven't seen them hit like I've seen, like Origins
Some of
just
the
happened
others.
as we're doing this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interviews, a lot of people, a lot of talk, but it's still very, I think it's just a slight step up from BGG, where BGG it's really just playing board games.
Yeah.
They do have some
Yeah.
rewards. They do have some setups for the hotness, and then they had the Spiel des Jahres one at the one we just went to.
Yeah.
That was
They had
interesting.
25 vendor booths. They weren't like I said, the local one, it was just like a card table, like a regular
Yeah, there's a dozen
table
maybe.
set up. This one had
Maybe.
25 booths.
Yeah.
They had the Spiel des Jahres set up, and in the fall they do the winners of the Spiel des Jahres and the hotness, and then they had the library goes up to about 9,500 games, so huge library, and the whole hotel is still air quote small enough to be housed in a huge hotel, like a great big huge hotel, but they take over the whole hotel. So let's just say, I'm just giving them an estimation, 500 to 5,000. We're talking about a regional, and it's probably far enough away you may have to drive it, and you may have to get a hotel room, so you're going to pay a little more, and then
but you got people, like in the local one, we get people coming in from, they're driving an hour in to play games. They're driving an hour home. That sounds like a lot, but it kind of isn't.
Yeah.
Whereas when you get to the regional ones, you have people coming from 400, 500, 600 miles. They're going away, so they do have to have or flying in. They do have to have a hotel room for the entire time. Yeah. I can't imagine anyone flying in for any Game Fest. But
No.
But we do, like, I've driven down a regional one. I've driven down to Comic-Con in Little Rock. That's 2.5 hours. Mid-South Con would be about an hour and a half. Yeah. Those we could drive
they're local for us, but you do get some people coming in from outside of the state to come in.
Yeah, definitely. So a little step up, a little more expensive for those reasons. You're probably going to drive. If you fly in, they'll be at a hotel big enough to get the food there, get a DoorDash, and so you're going to spend a little more money. And vendor booths step up, and you might spend a little more money there, but still more focused on games. And let's say a light, from extremely light at a local, light to medium focus on vendors at these regionals. Would you say?
Yeah, I don't think they focus on the vendors at all, actually. I think the vendors who come are there because
there's blood in the water.
Yeah. They're going to make some money. There's enough people there for them to bring the product they have there.
Some money,
and it's inexpensive enough to get a booth there. Like, I'll have to look them up. Something.
The prices.
Vector, there was some game company. I wanted to buy their game. And there was a couple of them. They just had one game they were trying to sell, or a couple of games they were trying to sell.
Yeah.
And so
I don't remember how much a booth was. I think. Well, no, I do. Okay, our local con, a table was $150 for 4 days. BGG, I believe it was more like $1,500 to $2,000 for 4 days. That's still not bad.
No. A Rival Rush. They were. That's the company. Yeah, they just had a little booth with just their game, and so they have the good and the bad. I mean, I don't know how well they did. Hopefully, they did really well. Root for them. But it's a small enough place where they're kind of a main focus. They had a little corner spot, and it was just them, and like people were walking by, and they had people there.
Yeah.
So they're not buried amongst the huge rush. But
people.
It's still they have to bring their games and all that stuff to get there. So
there's still some luggage and stuff, and I imagine they do okay. I know
they do too.
Indie Cards Game, the guy was talking, he said no, that's probably the smallest con they go to, and they do it more because they support Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
He said no, that's why they have a smaller presence, because just fewer people, because you got to pay your person to sell your games
to run the booth and schlep all those games down there. Yeah, because that's one thing I learned. It wasn't for board gaming, but I've had a booth at a national con with a company I worked for, and you have to pay to ship everything. It's in freight. It comes in. You have to buy the marketing-based pop-ups and all the drapes and all. There's a lot of cost to that, and if you rent it from the hotel, like even to the point, if you want, I want padding for my people to stand on, that was an extra price versus just the carpet, whatever, every little thing. And if you wanted them to put your backdrop together, they would do it for you. There was a cost to that. If you want them to tear it down and pack it up for you, there was a cost to that. If you do it yourself, it might be cheaper, but boy, you better bring a DeWalt drill, because we didn't, and we had 10 people with one screwdriver, and it took us forever. So there's a lot of hidden costs too to setting up a booth like that, and parking. You're in a big city, and you're trying to park and unload all that stuff if you try to do it yourself. So versus shipping it, so there's a lot of logistics to it.
Yeah, we appreciate them for taking that step.
Yeah.
So, and there's also opportunities to volunteer at regional cons. Pretty much any con I've been to, there's always a volunteer opportunity. The fundraising component, I know the two regional ones we talked about. BGG, there was a fundraiser component at both of those for a local charity.
Cafe Momentum.
Yep, they were. Yeah, that was and they were
Troubled youth.
Troubled youth to teach them culinary skills.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the one last fall what it was.
I don't remember anything on it in the
But
fall.
they had one.
I'm
had
sure,
one,
I just
but
don't
yes.
remember.
Just don't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, it's like
It was
we
a
were
monster race. We were mind blown by our first BGG con. We were
Yeah.
like, wow, this is awesome. But I would say it's fair to say that pretty much every con at every level has some sort of fundraising component because the board gaming community is lovely. The tabletop gaming
It
community.
really is, yeah.
Not just board games. I'm going to include RPGs, dice, card, and all those games.
Yeah.
Tabletop gaming community is
Yeah.
lovely like that.
Gen Con did a charity, but theirs wasn't so much like part of your ticket or
Yeah.
percentage. They had that big card event. You
Card
put,
event, and
you
then
put the cards
Pop
out
the
and then get the
balloons
knocked
for
out.
Ahoy. Yeah.
They had two different ones.
They-
They
had
make
several.
some money. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they told how much they made, so I can't remember, but they
It was
published it. It was
6
impressive.
digits or not? Oh, 5 digits.
5 digits, yeah. So,
Upper
but so
five.
local, you can volunteer. Like at BGG, you can volunteer some shifts to work the floor.
Yeah.
Um,
Work the library, work the floor.
work
There's
the library.
one guy whose job it was on the 11th floor was just to sit there. And when you came there, you had to have a badge on to access those
Security.
rooms
Yeah.
to play in.
Yep.
So,
And you had to be over 18. Or
Yeah.
there was an age limit on
Yeah.
the owls.
yeah,
Make sure
that one was the
security.
adults only
Yeah.
section. So
And we saw them. They checked people in. They checked out games. They gave people badges.
and they were serious about it because
Yeah.
John got turned away because he didn't have his badge.
Yeah, my son had left his badge somewheres, and I was like, well, just take mine to go check out a game. And then I got dinged, so I wouldn't have to get them.
And they monitored the tables to make sure they were actually being used.
Yeah, that was
And
nice.
if they weren't, if people just left stuff on them to kind of hold the table, they would remove it and open the table up. So they did their job. They did a good job. And they were clearly marked. This is at BGG Con. Now, we haven't been, Arkansas Comic Con, they also ask for volunteers. I mean,
Yeah.
any big event like that, especially logistics people,
It's
different. It's in the state capitol and it's,
there's no board game presence there. It's
No.
it's more about the
It's all cosplay and pop culture stuff.
cosplay, pop
and
culture.
cosplay.
They have. I'm sure they have some vendors that have some adjacent
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah,
They always
especially in
have
the
a
RPG
Yeah.
area.
very
of board
small
games.
tabletop area, but it's not much.
I think there's a local company who
Yeah.
has a library, but they take like
That's
30
where I got
games.
Splendor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a little more than that, but yeah,
It was
it's
small.
not the component that you're going there for. It's not tabletops. Yeah,
yeah. I'm surprised.
It's the nerd flea market
There's
of
I wonder-
conventions.
I'm surprised there's not something like that in Little Rock because Little Rock's got to have a pretty decent sized.
They got Game Goblin. That's
Well,
a good game store.
and Little Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. But you're right. They don't do tabletop gaming in
No.
Little Rock, but they do
Or
have.
if they do, it's like so local it doesn't
We haven't heard of
get
it.
outside
Yeah.
of Little Rock.
Yeah, I mean, I would think we would have heard of it with all the newsletters and things we're on.
Yeah.
But now that Comic Con, they do a lot of voice acting,
Yeah.
so that's their big thing. They have
Yeah,
actors.
if you want to meet, I think it's
What?
Tara from the Teen Titans. Mm-hmm. She's going to be there.
and they've
Yeah.
had Bruce Campbell. They've had all the people
American
from American
Pie.
Pie. They've had
Yeah.
they've had
They've had some Lord of the
Hannigan's
Rings
been
people.
there.
Matthew
Kurt
Lewis,
Angle.
yeah.
They get wrestlers usually show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, there's usually about 5 wrestlers.
and a lot of the anime voices. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they've had some pretty good
Yeah, they get some pretty big names. So
voice actors and yeah, and the cosplay contest is fantastic.
they had the guy who voiced Luffy from One Piece there
Yeah.
one time. So
Pretty cool. Yeah.
and the guy who did Nora Zoro from One Piece.
Yeah.
I'm bringing that up because that's like I'd say at this moment in time, One Piece is the most popular anime in the world
It's
right
a big
now.
one. Yep.
I think it's surpassed Dragon Ball Z at the moment. So
I will say the local cons like that. At least that one, you can walk somewhere downtown Little Rock to eat, but food was a little hard to come by. There wasn't a lot in that state
You
convention
had
center.
the vendor burgers.
Yeah, and if you went
Vendor
outside
burgers.
that, you had to it was kind of a struggle to find food. So, yeah, and the hotels you could walk.
It's also
and come in.
$85. If you pack a lunch in a backpack, you got it.
yeah,
They let you
take
bring
you some
stuff
snacks.
in.
You could
Yeah.
you could go there and then you could leave afterwards and
Yeah,
as you're going back to your hotel or back
Drive
home in
home,
our case,
yeah.
you could go stop and eat. Just take a
At
breath.
the end of the day, yeah.
Decompress a little bit, and then head back to your domiciles
true.
afterwards. So
It's actually a tip for any con. Take a backpack with a bottle of water and some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Crackers.
Crackers.
Or, protein bars.
That'll get you through a lot.
Yep, get you through till the next meal. So
it is handy. Yeah, I brought just because I brought a water bottle. Because whenever we go to Disney, I tend to bring a water bottle.
yeah,
So I brought a bottle to the first BGG con we went to, and that was a saving grace for me because I refill that thing probably
over and
Yeah.
over.
100
yeah.
times. Yeah. It just
So
helps you keep hydrated, keep refreshed. Hydration is important, people.
now, did you feel like you had the one-on-one aspect at the regional? Like, did you get to know people?
Not well. The vendors, yes,
Okay.
there was a vendor thing. We could really chat them up. I mean, that's kind of
Okay.
what their job to do is to chat you up to make the
Yep.
sale.
Yeah.
Always be selling, always be closing.
But there weren't
ABC.
so many people you really could
But-
spend a minute with them.
There wasn't like if I want to talk to the
Hmm.
lady who's running the whole show at our local one, I can do that and have a conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really feel like I had the access to those guys there because they were actually busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They weren't just
Yeah.
I talked to the lady, and I think it's her husband are the two that were over. I talked to him for about 5 minutes in the elevator, just
Yeah.
chat. But no,
Excuse me.
they were busy.
working.
They were
Yeah.
working, but they would stop. They were friendly. They would stop. and
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
They're not going to stiff
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily know. Now, one of the benefits, like he was saying, though, I do think the vendors, because like you said, we met the author of
Yeah.
some of the Chaosium books. They signed it. We got to have like a 10-15 minute conversation with him. You got to talk to another game vendor. I got to talk to Wolf Boy Games, TCG Limited, Speed Robo Games. This was last year, but in fall. And then also I talked to Dead Mimic Games.
Yeah.
And I bought a game from each of them and sent them videos when we played them. And then, so you really, it is a lot more accessible. We saw a few people we knew there.
Yeah.
We saw a guy named Matthew that comes to the regional.
Yeah.
And we saw him there
I saw about
Um,
10 to 15 people.
that you knew because it was.
I know of them. I know their face.
Yeah,
recognize them.
recognize them. So, starting to recognize people. Tommy was there that we met last.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah.
He was pinging us. What did you like in the?
Yeah, the last con.
The Spiel des Jahres. They liked Moon Colony Bloodbath.
Oh, that makes sense.
That was hilarious. But anyway, and we were like, we liked Rebirth, so I told him. But anyway, he was on Threads saying that. So recognizing some faces,
Yeah.
and we're going to volunteer next time, so we'll probably
We're
meet
trying.
more people.
We're going to try. We need to
that way.
get on the ball for
Make
that.
sure, yeah. So we'll meet more people that way, probably, that actually work.
Yeah,
at the
and
con.
I'm hoping to actually, like it's like a double-edged sword. I'm hoping
Mm-hmm.
to actually interview a lot of the vendors and stuff and check out their wares and just showcase what's out there.
Yeah.
The bad part is it's like a lot. I won't be able to. Like there's this one lady was selling game piece upgrades she'd
Mm-hmm.
made, and I was like, that's really cool. I can't afford any of these. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So
Acrylic ones, those
yeah,
were nice.
yeah, I really wanted the SETI ones, but it was just like that's.
$50.
Yeah,
You
it
could
was
get
something
the
like
game
that. And I was
for
like,
that,
I would
yeah.
rather spend money on a new board game to
game,
get
yeah.
that, but I still want to talk to
They
her
were
about
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
those
fair.
those I like.
So-
I buy ones if they're cheap or if I have to really like the game. Like I'm gonna glow up this.
And I think if we were to
That's
talk
kinda
about
mine.
pros and cons, a con would be it is more expensive than a local. A pro would be access to the up and coming vendors and the existing vendors. We got to play a game with the owner of Indie Boards and Cars, Travis Worthington,
Yeah,
last fall.
yeah. So say that was yeah.
That was a pro. And
Yeah,
then
it was pro. I don't think we'd be rubbing shoulders with them if we
Yeah.
hadn't just lucked into
lucked
it.
into it,
Yeah.
but it was
It
cool.
was still neat. He
And
was
then another-
pretty sharp.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was really sharp. But I think another pro to me would just be the game library was so huge.
yes.
So we literally had board games we were on the fence about, and we were like, we're going to try to play it there.
There's the good and the bad of it. There's definitely
Mm-hmm.
some board games. When I got home this time, there were some games that got taken off my wish list. Yeah.
Because you played them and they weren't
Yeah.
quite what you thought.
But then
yeah.
there's a game, Rebirth, that's got added to my wish list.
Yeah.
I
That was
really
a
would
fun
like to
game.
get a copy
I was
of
surprised
Rebirth.
how much I liked that game.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And I wasn't interested in that. That's another great thing about the cons, especially this con, the bigger
Mm-hmm.
cons. because, like I said, and for Moon Colony Bloodbath, that's a good example. Don just talked about
Yeah.
it. Wanted that game so bad, and we got a copy and we played it. Ham Helsing's the same way. We played it, and when we were done playing it, Moon Colony Bloodbath, none of us really liked it. I'm not saying it's a bad game. There's some people who just
It's not our style.
It's a Spiel des Jahres nominee.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. For me, it just felt like I don't want to say waste of time. It didn't feel like I was playing a game at all.
Felt like complete luck. You just
Yeah, I
But
like
then
it.
we played Explorers of Nevoria. I always want to copy that, and I played it. I was like, this is just a little too simple for me.
Yeah.
So there's Ham Helsing. I liked Ham Helsing a lot.
Yeah.
It's a very cute, awesome game. When I got done, though, it's like there are people that take this
Mechanic style.
and do it better, because we played Cthulhu Death May Die, basically the same kind of mechanic, and
the Horde Mob.
Yeah, the Horde Mob. Yeah, and it's just better. It's just a better story, better mechanics, better play, and so
Zombie Side's kind of similar too.
So you get to play games, you're excited, you want to see, and that just might not click with me. But I guarantee there's someone who played Ham Helsing and thought, this is the best game
Ever.
Yeah.
I think I've ever played in my life. I think these spiders are so cool. And like I said,
that
Rebirth.
was a cute game.
I had no desire to play Rebirth. I watched it. What's it? Before you play, Naveen and
Monique and Naveen.
Monique and Naveen. If you haven't found that channel, they're similar to us. They're pretty good at
Playing games.
playing games and getting them out there. Whereas we do a lot of stuff, that's basically all they do. They just play a board game and say, here's a board game. We played it. Here it is. And so they did that with Rebirth. And I was like, that just doesn't look that interesting. Then I played it and was like, okay, I really would like to get a copy of this game, because I had so much fun playing this game.
I knew nothing other than that table was open.
Yep.
That's
I
the
think
extent
that
of
was the
knowledge.
biggest pro to me for that
Yeah.
kind of regionals. There's just so much there.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, the vendor.
Our locals pretty good at that, because they'll tend to have a lot of they'll have like a couple big games that
Yeah,
are coming
but
out.
not on the scale.
Not on this scale.
No.
I mean, they won't have every
Yeah,
game you
not
want
on
to
the
try,
scale.
but they'll have a few.
Let's talk about national cons then. So
Yeah.
let's talk about a Gen Con or a Dragon Con or a Eschenspiel. Let's talk the UK. Let's talk about the big
UK
big,
Expos, the national one.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering about Origins.
and Origins.
I'm going to
is
see how
right
many
there.
people attended.
Yeah.
I think Origin's like 40. 40
So
or
yeah,
50.
that would be a
that would be a
national
national con, yeah.
So let's talk about that. So pros and cons of that. So we already know we talked about one con was price point.
Yes.
A little harder to
Price
get
point.
to. You may have to fly. Hotel rooms, you got to be really careful. And then, food's
Honestly,
probably a little higher, I'm sure.
I think a regional con and the national cons are about the same price. If you get in the lottery for the hotels.
Yeah, hotel.
If you have to get outside of that, then your price is a lot more. Or you just drive more from farther
Drive
west.
more or have a plane ticket. I think National's slightly more expensive.
It is more.
Because, like, if
yeah.
you got the refillable Coke thing at Gen Con, it was like $25. And then it was still, I think, $1 to refill it, right? Versus
It was I think
BGG
$2
Con,
to
they had
refill
water
it.
everywhere. You could get water. You could just get water everywhere at
Yeah.
BGG Con. You didn't have to get a soda. It was really easy to get water.
That's right. I don't remember much water at Gen Con. Not to
No,
mention
they
it.
didn't have all the water
There,
stations.
there,
You
no,
had
they
to
did
buy
not
your
have.
drinks.
Yeah, there were water
Bring her by.
stations,
Yeah,
and there were long lines to them. It was
Yeah.
nothing like.
like the regional. So other pros and cons. So we talked about pricing on food, and we do have on our playlist. I have con reviews, and I talk about how much the tickets cost, how much the everything. I've got that.
Yeah,
I've
their
got
budget.
every one we've been to, which is quite a few now. I've got it all listed out, so you can where I compare them side by side in our YouTube playlist under Fellowship of Games. I've got con reviews, but if we talk about the national. The tickets were a little higher at Gen Con and Dragon Con.
Yeah, Gen Con it's $150.
Yeah.
So it's it's just everything blown up. It's $150. The hotel. It was
Under 200, but
It was under 200 if you were able to get into the lottery, but if you're not able to get in the lottery, you're spending $200 to $300.
and then it was also Dragon Con. We had to stay really far out, and you had to take a subway in, so you had the subway costs or the train, and then you had their badges were $165 if you got it sooner than later. I think later it went up to like $175. It was more like Gen Con. You paid for your bottled water and your drinks, and you carried it with you, and it was kind of hard to find you had to go looking for a Diet Coke or whatever.
Yeah, you were paying if you wanted anything pretty much. There was water there.
Drinks were like $5-7.
You were paying for a drink. Now there was some restaurants within walking distance that were a little more reasonable. I think there was a Subway within walking distance, and Subway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had that Mulligan's or that place.
Well,
that pub that was
we found a pub. I don't want to give away the name because
it was so awesome.
Oh, it was packed. I mean, it was
packed. At the same time, we were able to get in pretty easy, and it had some very reasonable price and incredible food.
So and then you could, and Gen Con, there were plenty of places to eat inside. Dragon Con, the food wasn't as good where we were. As
Gen Con they had one place to eat inside, but they had a food truck.
Outside, a food court, and it had a lot.
It had a lot. It had some covered tents and
that was really nice
and stuff. Yeah. So you were still really outside, in of course it's Indiana. I mean, I'm sorry, people who live in Illinois. I mean, come on, Indiana. It's not hot up there.
Yeah,
Northerners.
No, 108 humidity.
Not like the Delta. Yeah, the sticky 120 degree heat index. It was pleasant, and you could get
it's wonderful. I like it a lot. Yeah,
it was very nice.
I love
beautiful.
I love that area.
Beautiful weather. Yeah. So very and then of course Dragon Con Atlanta. You're into more of the sticky heat.
That was later. It was in October.
We went in September. It's Labor Day weekend. It was pretty warm.
It's pretty warm.
Pretty hilly.
You're still at the back end of summer there, so it can be pretty nasty.
And it was spread out across 10 blocks, and the streets were up and down, so it was a schlep. But still again, it wasn't, as far as price point, the price between Gen Con and Dragon Con were similar. The other thing I noticed there was the a la carte tickets. So if you want to do, they had big things like True Dungeon, but that's in addition to your purchase price. If you want to go play a board game with a vendor, most of those some were free, but most of them were between $4 and $10, I would say. And I'm guessing that's them covering the cost of the people teaching the game,
Teaching it and getting the game there.
Yeah.
Room rent
and
supplementing that game itself, because that's a game they're not selling. So.
Yeah. And if you want the game library, I think it was around $15 a day. So you're going to pay in a la carte for what you do, basically.
Yeah, like it. Yeah,
at the national.
At the national level, it had 70,000 people. And it was, you're going to cons. It's always more expensive, but it was the higher end of the cons.
Yeah.
It's much more expensive.
Like I would say, I think Gen Con, in addition to our ticket, all the other little things we did probably doubles the price.
It was about $200 to $300, I think, we spent our tickets.
This year it was around $400.
The press in the con carry the press of humanity.
Yeah.
The vendor hall is so large, you kind of have to decide, am I going to, like if you're just there for a day, you have to decide really, it's like, am I going to sign up for an event or do some sort of event,
or go to
play
the
board
hall.
Games, or go to the vendor hall. Like you could go to the vendor hall and then play board games afterwards. Go ahead and buy a ticket and play deep into the night.
Yeah,
that's a long day though. It's like you have kind of energy you got. But even if you spent the entire day at the vendor hall and did the hall crawl, as they call it, you might not see everything. So
I think that's very true. And but then, we're talking a lot about the differences and more cons. Now, what are the pros? You're going to see everybody there. You're going to see every vendor you've ever heard of there. And
they're going to have their own specific rooms.
Yeah, the rooms.
They give you a bag while supplies last. They give you a big old bag to take your board games around.
Stuff in
and you'll meet the authors of everything, like the guys who wrote the D&D core rule books are there. They're hawking their own books. The Shadow Dark ladies.
The real deal. Yeah. You're going to see everything. And you're going to get to play games that are still in development. Like T-Witches had just gotten to the States, didn't even have the rule book done, and we were playing it. And what was the one he volunteered and taught at AED?
AEG, yeah, they
Big
have
Game
their
Night. They had
their
a birthday
games.
party and they had all these giveaways, and if only I'd known,
Yeah,
they gave away such cool stuff.
they did.
But we
Who
also
knew?
went to the Big Game Night, and they had cool stuff. We got 4 games, and the authors were there, and they would sign them.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Hargrave.
Hargrave, the Wingspan
Yeah.
fame, just came out with
Mm-hmm.
this game right over here, the Undergrowth. So she's really proud of that one.
So yeah, so that's the
And another
True
pro.
Dungeons there, live action role playing.
Yeah, they got the room for
And
that.
now this year they have Final Girl live action role playing.
Yeah.
And so you're playing the meeples basically, and the big bads are in there trying to kill you. Like basically it's a real live haunted house. And then whoever's directing the game, you're going to go till you get killed by the big bads, and then you go help her. I almost signed up for that, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, but it sounded really fun.
We just ran out of. We signed up for a lot, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things we sacrificed. That's another thing. Like I said, you have X amount of time, so you got to figure out
So much.
how much. Like we got, we have an hour here, so we can go to the vendor hall here. We have an hour here, so we can go
Yeah.
eat lunch, and then we're going to go do this, and so
Yeah.
And then one pro is to, well, you're talking about that. That's one con as well, is you're competing with everybody for those few events.
yeah.
I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of events, but there's everybody going for it.
Yeah.
So your group may not be able to fit in one group, or you may just get one guy.
Oh,
to
yeah,
go.
yeah. But you're going to get to see
You're
the
gonna see it all,
latest
though.
and greatest of everything. And they also had both of those, Gen Con and Dragon Con, have an amazing cosplay parade.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, if you're into tabletops, I would go to Gen Con over Dragon Con, and if you're into
Pop
cosplay
culture.
and RPGs, I'd go to Dragon Con over Gen Con.
Yeah.
And they also have a lot of comic book artists and stuff.
Yeah. Yes, they had a lot of comic book artists
A lot of pop art.
at Dragon Con.
Con, yeah.
But both of them are amazing. Like you say, you're ramping up the scale, and you're going from like 25 vendor booths to probably,
Stuff's getting.
how many vendors are there? Probably 1,000.
The rows, they're up to 2,500 rows.
Yeah, so-
and columns.
Yeah.
Vendors.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
They debut the games
Yep,
there.
the
A
brand
lot
new
of-
games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's
So-
like the beating heart, the beating pulse, or the heartbeat of the
And-
tabletop gaming community
One
we saw at Gen Con.
Yeah. One pro and con for it is it's a 24-hour con. So
Mm-hmm.
their stuff's scheduled like at 3 a.m. for people who want to be
Yeah,
doing that.
it does slow down. Yeah, and the game library's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got
Play
out
till you drop.
after midnight. I got out after midnight because I was doing the AEG.
AEG Big Game Night.
And I went back when I got done. I was tired. I went and I sat and I'm like, you're at Lucas Oil Stadium,
Yeah.
where the Indianapolis Colts play. You're in that stadium, and it's massive. And down there, where the football players would normally be, you got an army of
Huge.
nerds playing.
Game library,
On
man.
picnic
It was
tables.
awesome.
Yes, game library. And oddly enough, though, I think there's actually more tables. The game library, I know it is. The game library was probably bigger at BGG than it was there.
Yeah.
But they had a bunch of Warhammer tables set up and stuff. So
Crazy.
so it's not focused on playing those games, but there are people out there playing those games. That element is still there and strong and thriving.
Yeah.
So
So I guess if we were to kind of recap it, a little more expensive. Your least expensive is going to be local. Then you're
Yeah.
going to bump up to regional. Then the most expensive is the national, which makes sense. And then you're going to get more one-on-one and personal time at the local. The regional seems like they're also still really focused on gameplay more than vendors, but you're starting to get the vendors.
yeah, they're going to be focused on if they're gameplay. But if you go into like our what is it called, the Little Rock,
Yeah.
like that one's not
Cosplay, yeah.
the cosplay, but it's focused. I mean, they're going to be really do what they're there for well.
To do, yeah.
The board game one does
Yeah.
board games well. So, and I looked it up. Dice Tower East and West has about 2,000 people.
So they're regional.
So they're
yeah.
kind of regional too. They're just taking care of the East Coast. So
their areas.
and
And
your
then national,
national
you're going to have
Origins
a lot
has
more
about 50,000 people.
vendor and new stuff.
Yeah, and then you go to Siege, Ashen Spills, the biggest one has
250,000.
250,000. What would one like the West be like?
That's
No.
Tower West.
He said.
Oh, Dust Tower West.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said it was.
There's like San Diego Comic Con. That's national.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
So that's
national.
cosplay.
That's
Yeah.
cosplay. Yeah.
But it's national.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure the Emerald City up in Seattle they have Emerald City something. But they
What
have
about Midwest?
Geekway maybe. I
Let's
mean,
see. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm
if
thinking
you're
like
looking-
Nebraska, something around in that Midwest.
I'm sure
Have Corn Con or something.
Corn Con.
Oh,
They have Omaha. I bet you
Yeah.
Omaha has something.
There's
something
huge
big.
cities, so that'd be something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something there. Omaha, Wisconsin.
and we're kind of speaking to what we know.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
sure they have
Yeah.
regional cons
Yeah.
in just about every big city of some type.
Yeah,
But it just happens to be like in some, you have a national con instead.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
You're lucky enough to have a
I don't
national.
remember Omaha. Yeah.
So,
I'm sure so. I just didn't know what
so,
was
and we
popular.
were talking about the size. So yeah, national. You're going to be like we said. You're going to
Yeah.
be up
You're in five figures up with
five
attendance.
to 5 to 6
It's
digits.
much more
Yeah.
focused, but there's still a lot of
Yeah.
board game to be played out there. They still want you to. A lot of those people that make those games still want you to sit down and play their game. So
At least for a little
they
bit.
they can talk to you about
Yeah.
that game and,
Yeah.
and brag about that
Show
game.
you.
Yeah, they'll show it to you. So
Because I mean, them at the
and
Pratt
those
don't show
are
off.
Yeah.
all capped on time, though. They're all capped
Yeah.
on time. It's not like you can
Yeah.
just do it all night unless you go to that all night.
it's like some
Area.
will do that though. So I remember like these people that they sat down at one of the vendors and they played a 3-hour something or another. What's the one? The Hobbit one.
Our tickets were based on time.
Yeah, the tickets. Now those, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
like the actual vendor
Yeah.
tables. The Hobbit one, there and back again. The little one with the
Rolling right.
yeah.
Yeah.
They let you play out a whole scenario there, which doesn't take that long. But they had tables. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could.
Play that.
You had if you had a table open, they were like, sit down.
Yep.
Let me show you.
Well,
Let me show you what I got.
Board Game Geek, they said don't do that. They said remember, get at least like 5 hours of sleep,
Yep.
take your medicine,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
everything
and take a
else.
shower and
Yeah.
eat. Yeah, take your medicine.
3,
and
2,
sleep.
1, 3
Yeah.
hours.
At least, yeah.
3 hours rest, 2 shower.
It's a day, 2 meals a day and 1 shower a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Board game. All right, so let's bring it home. So, John, out of all of these, local, regional, national, what's your favorite?
I like local because it's cheap and I get to play pretty much anything I want to play. They'll have the popular new
We
stuff I want
play-
to try,
Pretty hard.
or
Yeah.
you'll get the random like we don't have someone play. Let's try this, and we like it.
All right, and then I'm gonna say for what about you, Al?
I like going to Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting all the information,
The new stuff.
the new stuff that's coming out. There's a game, DeVere's got a new game I just saw. It's on pre-order. I never heard of it. I'm like, I must see what this is. Gaudi, Ghadi, I think. Anyway, I was like, oh, is this another, like last year we discovered Transgalactic and Covenant and Spirit
It's
Train. There's just like all kinds
dazzling.
of stuff. The Hobbit game, I had never heard of it, and I was just walking along and I
Yeah.
saw some play, and I was like, oh, it's Bilbo. I was like, what is this? And I got a copy not too long afterwards. So
Yeah.
it's nice seeing all the new stuff that's out there. Plus, you got all kinds of gorgeous art from the art vendors and creatives out there.
And I'm gonna say for me, I'm gonna say 2 answers. If I was going just for enjoyment and playing games, I really liked BGG Con because they had such a huge selection, and they just had so many things, and it felt like the regional felt like the local, but there was just a lot more opportunity, and I really liked getting to meet the up and coming game designers or even the big companies like Indie Boards and Games that they came
Yeah,
to
they
it.
had the
I really liked that. I liked
Independent
the
room.
in-betweenness of it. So I think we have a hung jury for this session of the Cardboard Court. John's voting local, I'm voting regional, Al's voting national, all with very great, justifiable, defensible positions. It is a hung jury today in the Cardboard Court. Anything else you want to add?
No,
No? John?
I'm really.
No, just have fun. And be
I'd
nice
say,
to people.
yeah, I'm proud of the board game community.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
one
it's
thing I can
fantastic.
say about that. I've haven't felt ostracized or haven't been really
Mm-hmm.
bad conversations. Everyone I guarantee you,
Yeah.
there's very different views on different subjects, and that's all reined in just to play some wonderful board
Some
games.
wonderful, the tabletop gaming community, you are awesome. We can all agree on that. And that is a wrap up of today's Cardboard Court. Thank you for joining us. And for now, farewell from the Fellowship. And that was today's judgment as it came down from the Cardboard Court. Be sure and check out our full videos on YouTube and Patreon. And don't forget, like and subscribe. Thank you.